Hey, what's up, everybody? Frederic Poag here. So, yesterday on Fox and Friends, Brian Kilmeade said about homeless people who don't want to get treatment for undiagnosed mental health conditions. He said that they should, quote, suffer involuntary lethal injection. We should just kill them, unquote. Now, this really isn't surprising from a fascist outlet, a propaganda network of a increasingly fascist and authoritarian movement, that they would go to the death solution or the final solution. But why are they going there? Besides cruelty just being the point. Well, I think it's because they don't have any solutions. So this is it. They're just going to go with the final solution like the Nazis did. Stick with me on this one. See, for any political movement to be viable, they have to prescribe a solution for society that may or may not work. And that's how populist movements gain power, is when you have a lopsided in any kind of society, especially when the rich and the elites have more than everyone else, or a lot more, people rise up. They're sick of being exploited. They're sick of being taken advantage of. And that is happening all across the board, not just with MAGA, even though corporate media really likes to give them preferential treatment when it comes to talking about their struggles and their problems. That's that whole hillbilly elegy crap from J.D. Vance. But why would Brian Kilmeade say that? It's the same reason that Charlie Kirk got assassinated by one of his own. Because they're not identifying the entire problem. In fact, they're just spinning the problem for propaganda and proposing a simplistic solution that the rubes can grasp onto, that can echo their hatred and bigotry and ignorance. That's what Brian Kilmeade was doing, because he's reaching out to that audience of people that say, we should just kill them all, or we should just put them all on an island and blow it the hell up. That kind of stuff. It's a frustration born from, I don't understand society, I don't understand nuance, so I'm just going to be angry. Let's take homelessness, for example. I'm a disabled veteran. A good chunk of the homeless population are veterans. And a lot of them suffer from complex PTSD, which is a form of mental illness. And a lot of them are skeptical about getting help from the VA. And for good reason, because they were abused by the U.S. military. It's a sad fact of our history. We abuse veterans. And if you're about to say, we don't do that anymore, look at the recent cuts that they're doing with the VA right now. They're pushing people out the door to retire early. Even the 30,000 cuts that they want to do through retirements and again, federal budget cuts, that was down from the 100,000 number that they proposed to do. And even though Trump likes to take credit for the hospitals, the VA hospitals that Biden has opened, he doesn't want to fund them. Heck, they shut down the suicide crisis hotline for veterans. And the Supreme Court in March of this year ruled that if there's a gray area in disability ratings, which it used to, if it was on the line as they review disability claims and et cetera, they would do the benefit of the doubt for the veteran. And then they'd raise the disability for the veteran. Not anymore. Supreme Court said can't do it. So at every turn, they've cut funding and help and support for veterans. Would you be real trusting of the VA? Would you want to go seek medical help, especially if you're already in a mentally precarious position due to complex PTSD and whatever else? Or how about this? In 2017 to 2020, I lived in Los Angeles. I went back home to Colorado during the pandemic to help my mother and my sister. I saw firsthand how the neighborhood I lived in, homelessness increased incrementally. Seemed like daily at some points. By 2019, they put out a report that 70% of people who were homeless in LA were first time. The reason? Because rents kept going up damn near every month. And people got priced out of where they were living. And that put them on the street. They were still working. They were still going to their jobs. They just didn't have a home. You saw this in entertainment with personal assistants and people lower down on the totem pole. They stopped paying rent. They lived out of their cars. They ate takeout. They showered at the gym they had a membership at. They weren't crazy. They were working. But they were homeless. The homeless issue in America is multifaceted. It encompasses childcare, mental health, economics, cost of living, housing, you name it. It's pretty much our entire late stage capitalism, return to the Gilded Age, wealth disparity, all rolled into one. And slogans and propaganda and blaming immigrants aren't going to fix it. Tariffs, which is a tax, are not going to fix it. It's going to make it worse. And this is the problem with MAGA and their movement, is they don't talk about these problems in a multifaceted and nuanced way because they want the slogans. It's immigrants' fault. It's transgenders' fault. It's all homeless are mentally ill and scary. And that's not how the world lines up. That's why they got to keep their base in this bubble. That's why they got to keep feeding them that red meat. I don't know if Brian Kilmeade really believes that. I could care less. All I know is he said it. He should be fired, like Matthew Dowd was on MSNBC, for saying something much, much, much less worse. But he's not. He'll still have a job, and he'll still say some more horrible stuff, because that's what the maggot base wants to hear. And that's why both parties are not the same. Both movements aren't the same. We're just not. But that's also why the MAGA movement is so hate-filled and they're getting so extreme, is because their public officials, their thought leaders like Charlie Kirk, are proposing final solutions for problems they haven't adequately talked about. Anyway, that's all I got for you. Keep the faith. Keep the faith, defend democracy, and I'll see you later.